Good morning. This is America's teacher, Casey Noland. I thought I'd go ahead and do an apportionment number 3, because I really want to talk to you about power, and it relates to the whole Congress thing, and this might be the best overall video or discussion or whatever on Congress, because sometimes I watch some of these videos and they're so getting into the facts, I don't know if the students are getting it. So the principle and the philosophy are a lot more important to me. That's just the way I taught. Okay, 435 in the House. Let's talk about power. So for the lay person or the outsider, what's all this and all the politics, and I don't get it. And so let me see if I can try and explain it, and maybe this will help. If there's 435 in the House. Now, one thing people don't understand is Congress makes the laws. That's what this whole unit on Congress is about, making laws. And besides the Bible or your religion, and then underneath that, the Constitution, so what the Supreme Court says the Constitution says, the highest level of law in this country are the statutes. It's called statutory law made by Congress. And I'll try and put all this in the notes and have notes for you eventually. And I'm sorry I don't have that up on the site yet. I'm still trying to figure out a way to do that. But, so statutes passed by Congress are the highest law in the land. So, if you take the country, and here it is, the United States. Let me just talk to you for a minute, okay? And let's say those 435, every state and every little district or whatever sends their person back to Washington, right? You get that, right? And let's say that me, Congressman Noland from the 3rd District of California, decides I'm going to write up a bill. And by the way, there's a really good video that I've been showing for years in my class. I'm just a bill. And it really does a great job of showing you how a bill becomes law. So the idea is a bill is a proposal. And a law, it actually goes into effect, and there's a consequence if we don't abide by it. Okay. So Congressman Noland from the 3rd District says, I'm going to take something ridiculous because they can do it. I won't get off on, current state of affairs. All right, let's say they want to make it illegal to be blonde. You laugh. They can do it. If 435 people say it's illegal in America to be blonde, then that is the law of the land, and then it can be set what the penalty is, and if you violate it, I guess you're going to federal prison. Not state now, right? Because they're passing federal laws. We need to talk about that too, our dual court system and stuff, when we get into that more, when we get into the courts. So you're saying, well, that's ridiculous. That's crazy. My students can never accept that. Yep. These 435 people can decide that it's illegal to be blonde. Well, not really 435. I'll just drew this up real quick for you. A simple majority is 218, or half of that. So it's 50% plus one of them, and they decided that a bill becomes law. Now, it passes the House, it's got to go over and pass the Senate, too, because we have a bicameral. We're not a unicameral. If we were unicameral, we'd just have one House. If it passed there, it's over. I think some of the states have it. Most of them are bicameral, too, so it's got to pass the Senate, like in California, and then it's got to go over and pass the Assembly. So really, a bill needs 218 votes to become a law. Now, the Constitution says on some things, like on financial or constitutional amendments, or on some special situations, it takes 2/3, so that would be 290 votes, or 3/4, 327 votes to pass. And if they're one vote shy, it's not a law. It failed. So they call for a vote, and that's where the Speaker of the House comes in, and they set a calendar, and we'll go into that, about the leadership in the House, and the majority party gets to pick the leadership. That's why party, gerrymandering, apportionment, representation is so important, because over time, it's just like a football game. Over time, the coaches and the players have figured out little ways to kind of bend or whatever the rules, just like you do at the freeway. The freeway says you should be driving 55 miles an hour, 65. Well, everybody drives 68. Why is that? A foreigner comes to our country, wait, I thought the sign said. So, just because the letter of the law says something doesn't mean that the culture doesn't develop a way around or a set of practices. And that's what's happened with Congress. A lot of this stuff was never set up in the Constitution. A lot of it came about over time through practice. So, 435 members in the House. So, if they want to make it illegal to be blonde, they can. But they need 218 votes. Then it has to go over to the Senate and has to get how many votes in the Senate? If there's 100 senators, that's simple, right? 51 votes in the Senate. And don't forget, the vice president is like the speaker over the Senate. He's not there using it day-to-day, but on important business. And the Constitution set it up that way. So look at these beautiful checks and balances the founders set up, that somebody from the executive branch would actually be there. So it has to pass one chamber, we call it. Then it has to go over the other chamber and pass that chamber. And then the president has to sign it. So here's the check and balances in effect. And then it can become law with the signature of the president. If the president doesn't sign it, and he refuses, he wants to veto it, then it has to go back, and now it needs a 2/3 vote. So it needs, 66 senators, and what did we say? 290 votes in the House. So they can override the president's veto by getting a bigger majority. Laws, the founders knew that laws passed by 51% kind of shaky, but day-to-day stuff, it helps them get it done fast. But really important stuff, like constitutional amendments, take a 3/4 vote. So 327 people in the House. Okay, I hope I haven't belabored this. I hope it makes sense. Thank you. I'm America's Teacher. Go to my website, mkcnoland.com. And I have a lot of this on there. Please message me, text me, whatever. Get a hold of me on Twitter, Facebook, and let me know what you think of our videos. Let me know of things you want to explain more. Give us some feedback. We'd appreciate it. Thank you. Have a great day.